Hello everyone, and welcome to Harriet Creates. In this episode, I will be attempting to create a miniature parquet flooring for my hall. Now, this was possibly the most trickiest floor I've ever had to build, and so you'll be watching a slight breakdown occur just over this video, so lucky you. So I started off as per usual with my cut up bits of box and card to try and get an exact replica of the room. This was then traded for an actual bit of card that really did fit the room. The first attempt I had was just cutting up coffee stirrers and just throwing them at it. Now, for some reason, I believed I had the natural ability to create parquet flooring without any assistance. This was incorrect, horrifically so, as you're about to witness. The first attempt, as you can see, mismatch and a bit weird. We love her, but she's not exactly what we're going for. The second attempt was more refined. We sanded the little bits of wood to make sure they fit properly, and we made sure to cut them up so that they all slotted together correctly, because coffee stirrers are a little bit unequal with the way they're made. There we go, much neater, yes. But I realised that there was a growing problem, and that was that none of the arrows remained pointing in the correct direction once we got started. So looking at this picture from left to right, the left ones are starting to become more flat and the right ones are starting to become more pointy. Comparing it to number 1 on the left and number 2 on the right. I continued with this process and then realised the blunder that I had made. Getting almost nearly to the end and then realising that they were wonky, basically. I had wonky I had wonky floor patterns. So I decided to rip it up and start again. I tried to save as much of the other flooring as I could, mainly because they are a good example of the ones I've tried, and they are also really good if you need to patch up something or you want to create a picture frame or literally anything else. I always try to save scrap because I think it would be useful. This one I tried doing grid lines. Nah, that didn't work out either. Okay, here we go. Attempt number 4. This is the really good stuff. We drew out an outline of the floor. So the little rectangle inside the actual one is the floor. And all of the outlines of where the parquet was going to fall, I was drawing out in pencil, so I knew I had something to follow. Felt like a good idea at the time. The process was incredibly lengthy. You may have noticed I've changed rooms a lot, and that happens. Welcome. Yeah, once that was all drawn out, I did attempt to think maybe we should stick some down, but was convinced by both my partner and my housemate to maybe stick them on some masking tape first to get the right outline, and they're wise people, so I listened to them. It was also a good idea to bundle up the coffee stirrers to then be able to chop them all up, so I wasn't there forever trying to saw through one coffee stirrer at a time. There they are, all the bundles. Then going over my outline with all of the masking tape on it to create parquet flooring. Now, I don't know if you know this, but masking tape is quite sticky. So I used some baking parchment to allow me to lean on the board properly. So that I didn't stick to it and therefore take away the stickiness of it. We first attempted doing it row by row and then bottom to top. And then we gave up and went back to row by row. And this seemed to be the better method to get everything to stick properly. Yes, row by row, and then a little bit of all of the pointing up and all of the pointing down. But once it was stuck on the masking tape, I then got the actual board I was going to use, covered it in glue and pushed them together, and then waited for it to set and then removed the masking tape, thus sticking them to the board. Now, it didn't go according to plan. I believe they moved ever so slightly in the transfer, which was very frustrating and meant that I had one sticking up all over the place, as would an old floor. Old floors warp all the time, and that is what I'm choosing to believe. The next thing was to trim it to size and then sand it. Yes, I am sanding while sitting on the floor. We don't do PPE at this early in the creations. We didn't truly value our lungs until fairly recently. Then, once it was all sanded nice and as smooth as I could get it, coffee stirrers are quite thin, so there was only a certain amount of stirring I could do. Only a certain. Coffee stirrers are quite thin, so there was only a small amount of sanding I could do. But then after that was done, we chose the same natural oak stain, and we stained it about two times. And there they are next to each other, our kitchen and our hallway. So yes, I hope you enjoyed watching me battle with some coffee stirrers in the name of a parquet floor, and a little bit of delusion, it would appear. thank you so much for watching, and come join us for the next one. Bye!